This is the Nightmare Ethel full auto team, which is something that wasn't possible in the previous season, but they mentioned that they're making adjustments to Constellation so that every single boss is going to be full autoable. It was really just Ethel under Hell, and indeed, Ethel is able to be completed on auto, so thanks Smallgate for that. The change they made was that for the boss on this skill too, it used to be a unique effect for evasion, now it's a buff. Buff means that it can be stripped and you can use unbuffable on it. Also, this buff is terrifying. What do you mean increase evasion? I hope we never see this ever. We probably will, because Setsuko would just make this 100%. I don't want to deal with this. But this means that we can get around the evasion a bit, and also most of the changes come from the blessing itself. In the blessing, they moved at level 3 before it was Knights would get evasion. They moved this up to the second one, combined it with the Ranger one, and you don't have to put the Knight in the front row anymore. They moved the Constellation, or they moved the Perdition difficulty nerf to the third one instead of the fourth one, I think. And now, level 4 says increases attack and hit chance of all allies by 50%. Ethel also blinds you during the evasion phase, so the hit chance means we can ignore that, plus free attack buff. At the start of the battle, Ethel gets unbuffable, undispellable. This means that the evasion buff I just mentioned got changed. Now she can't get it anymore, so we can completely ignore that phase. The problems remaining with the fight are 1. Provoking the ads, and 2. The ads swapping back and forth, because when they're both dark, Ethel takes a lot less damage, and when they're both light, Ethel has a billion hit chance, so she'll always be able to hit you. That Constellation energy will start going up, which puts you on a bit of a timer, and whatnot. That's why level 5 makes this a lot easier. They cannot transform, which means that you can just hit Ethel, and she'll never get her special buffs. She'll eventually death break herself because she just misses on all of your units. And this also means that you don't even have to perma-provoke them anymore, I think, because yes, they'll hit you, but because Ethel herself can't hit you, I'm pretty sure you should be able to out-DPS her, and you can provoke them like every other time they move, and you should still be okay. But we're going to be doing this at level 4. That's 10 less points that it'll cost us. And also just to show that it's doable at level 4, I'll probably redo it at level 5 as well, just to show how much easier it is at that point. So we have Hellion Lua plus 3 DPS is really all you really need. Hellion Lua, her replacements are none, I would say, because the thing with Hellion Lua is her S3 is on a super low cooldown. It's an AoE provoke, 3 turns. The other AoE provokers with 100% are, I think it's Bellion and Cecilia, but I'm pretty sure both of their S3s are 4-turn cooldowns, plus they have lower base speed. And then Senya has an AoE provoke 2 on S3, but I think hers is 85 or 75% chance provoke. And then Fire Maya is also AoE provoke, but she is, I know she's not 100%, I don't know what the number is though. So Hellion Lua kind of has no replacement, unfortunately. In terms of stats, you just want to gear her fast. Probably just make her as fast as you can, honestly. And then for the artifact, you can use a CR pushing artifact like Awakened Leaf, or if you have Unseen Observer, I think this also works, because Unseen Observer is every 3 turns. Where is it? It's every 3 turns, you get 15% CR. Pretty nice. Because it's actually just worse than Leaf in terms of CR push. But anything that gives you like CR would be useful pretty much. So we'll be using Awakened Leaf since this also pushes our backline, and just make her fast. I tried to keep her speed a little bit lower. The faster you can go, the better. Because you have to make sure you're lapping the ads enough to like chain provoke them, and eventually it's going to get harder and harder to do that. Especially if your DPS is low, your Lua needs to be faster. And then for the DPS, you need 2 dark units, because you only need 3 dark units to enter. If Lua is one of them, then you need 2 darks in your DPS, and then we can just use Fenne, who will do 1 billion damage for us. I'm using Rylet as my first one. 85 crit chance. This speed, I'm not sure what the optimal speed is, honestly, because ideally you would want his S3s to dodge the phase when she is dark, so that way he does full damage, but I'm not going to bother speed tuning him. This clears. Just give him Destro Pen with any damage boosting artifact, and you'll be good to go. And then Wanda is here because I like her. Her damage is solid. 85 crit chance just on speed pen with Song of Stars to apply target for even more damage, and I left her on Team Imprint to boost everybody else's attack. And then we have Fenne, this is just my Expedition Fenne. I just left her gear on. Make sure she's 100% crit chance. I guess I should actually like mention sub-dark DPS units. I mean, they don't necessarily have to be evasion, so the only time you can actually dodge any of her skills is the very first turn. So if you're using, like, let's say like Wanda and then Commander Lorena, then just make sure that any of your evasion units are in the front so that they actually tank the hit, because at least it's a multi-hit, but the first hit always, or one of the hits always goes into the front. So you can use like Commander Lorena, Bystander Hua Young. You could add in, does a pretty good amount of damage. You have a ton of options for what you want to use. The ability for us to use Fenne is going to carry a lot of the damage load. And let's go ahead and get into the fight. Also, I think I forgot to mention that level 2 and level 3 Leo would probably help, just extra stats if you need them. And you'll see that like every time Lua S3s, the ads will get closer and closer to the top of the CR bar. So eventually they will catch up, but if your damage is high enough, it won't really matter. Because you can see the Rylet plus the Fenne S3, with Fenne not even being ramped, already did over 25% of her HP. One other awkward thing that can happen here is she instantly takes a turn when she goes below 70% into phase change. If she is on her white form, she will cleanse the ads. So that can happen if your damage is super low, but with Fenne, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. It happens if it's like here, like Lua provokes and then let's say Wanda phases her, then she would act and cleanse everybody if they were both white. Also, of course, we have mild bits of RNG with Rylet and his S3. Just potentially going into, like, the wrong target. Or the S1 proc of his S3. You can see, like, after this point, the ads are pretty far up, so we only really have, like, either one more rotation or this rotation before the ads move to kill her. Okay, we got lucky and hit Ethel, but we have so much room. Like, we definitely would have killed her even without that happening. And that's the auto.